everyone, welcome to the Southern Scally Capper. Today we are taking a look at the Brawn by Boston Scally Company. Let's get to it. Here it is. This is the Brawn in red plaid by Boston Scally Company. This is a 6-panel red and black wool polyester cap. In Boston Scally's own words, this rustic plaid cap comes in 3 different colorways and boasts a contrast brim to add that rugged detail. This cap is also available in 2 other colors, gray plaid and blue plaid. Here is the cap in hand. This is the Brawn by Boston Scally Company. This cap has been out for quite a while now. I've seen this cap on their site pretty much, I think, since I got into Boston Scally Company, which was, again, as I've said in other videos, back in January of, well, last year now, because we are in January 2026 at this point. So this is a cap that, like I said, I knew it was there for a long time. I actually really like the look of this cap. I like the other 2 options available in the Brawn as well, but this was the one that just, it really, really caught my eye. I really like these colors together. And I don't know if you're like me, but if you think of Brawn or Brawny, you probably think of the Brawny paper towels. That's just where my mind goes to. It's really just a great marketing strategy. You know, the outdoorsman, you know, the strong, you know, paper towels when we think of Brawny, I think. So it works really well for their brand. And so this is immediately what I thought of when I saw the Brawn by Boston Scally. I'm sure a lot of y'all did as well, because this has been so ingrained in my mind at this point, the Brawny paper towels. But I really like the look of this cap. Now, this is another cap where on Boston Scally's site, it is not a great representation of the cap as far as the colors go. As you can see here, it's just not really what this cap, to me, what it looks like. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Just the colors don't quite match up, I think, on their site to once you do have the cap in hand and what it actually looks like. But once you do, I really like this cap. This was another one of the caps that I ended up getting after Christmas, after my wife had bought me a gift certificate for Boston Scally Company. I went ahead and I purchased this cap. I have, like I said, this has been on my watch list for a long time now. There were actually 2 pins with this cap. One is the one that you see here, the Brawn pin, and I really like this pin. I think it looks great on the cap. The other was the Axe pin. That has long been sold out on the Boston Scally site, but that is a nice looking pin. I do like that pin. I even saw it on eBay not all that long ago for maybe 20 bucks or so. That's about where you're going to find the price range for most of the pins that are sold on eBay, the Boston Scally pins. I didn't get it. I didn't know if I would get the Brawn at that point or when I would. I knew I probably eventually would, but it wasn't quite on my immediate radar, so I just kind of let that pin go. But I like both pins. I think they both work very well with this cap. So this was the pin that, since it was still in stock, that I ended up picking up. I do think it looks great with the pin. It would look great without the pin. I think this is one of the Boston Scally caps that you don't necessarily have to have either pin to complete the cap, but it's a nice touch. It's a nice touch to the cap, but definitely not one of the ones that it's essential. Like I really think a lot of the holiday offerings and even the fall collection caps, I think those are a lot of those caps you've really got to have the pin to complete the caps. Like the pumpkin head, I think that's a great looking cap. That I actually think that was the first review I ever did on this channel, was for the pumpkin head, and I haven't went back and watched that review yet. I'm scared to. I don't want to do that. But that is one of the pins. It looks great on that cap. It's the pumpkin pin. It looks awesome with the pumpkin head cap, and the same is true with many of the holiday offering caps. They really complete a lot of those caps, especially like something like the night before, the green cap. It's solid green throughout, but you have that nice Santa Claus pin with that. Otherwise, I don't really think you would know what that cap is. I think it might, if I'm remembering correctly, it might have a little bit of the red on the brim. But speaking of brim, let's take a look at this one. This is a nice brim there, the leatherette, the black leatherette brim. I really like the way that looks. No button on this cap. I know a lot of people have an issue with the buttons that Boston Scally put on the top of their caps. I'm not one of those people. I really don't care if it has the button or not. I've heard, I can't remember who it is, but maybe Chad. He's a big Scally Cap reviewer on YouTube, but he has said that a lot of the times when he sees the button, it reminds him it should have the propeller, the little propeller on the top. And I get that in a way, but I'm just not one of those people. It just doesn't bother me. And if you haven't watched the roundtable sessions with a lot of these Boston Scally Cap reviewers, Anox Unboxes on there, reviews with Moose, so many of the other guys, and they have a lot of guest speakers. Todd Swisher was on there from Swisher Apparel. So if you haven't seen any of those live streams, they have archived them on their pages. Definitely go check them out. They are worth checking out. They're awesome. Skydog Reviews was on their most recent, which is, I think, most of us consider the OG Scally Cap reviewer on YouTube. He's the one that I think most of us could point to and say, he got me into it. He made me want to do this. And it's the same with me. I love seeing his reviews, and he seems like such a down-to-earth, cool guy. So I think he just feels so relatable to us all. And I think that's really why we latched on to him and said, yeah, you know what? Like, I can do this too. You know, he made it seem, and this isn't a criticism, this is, but he made it seem easy. He made it seem like something, oh, we can do that too, you know, and share our love for these caps. So I think he inspired a lot of the Scally Cap reviewers on YouTube to make their own channels in the beginning. I know I'm definitely in that category. So anyways, back to the Brawn. This is such a cool cap. I really like this cap. Oh, and I was going to say one more thing about, and I think they were discussing this on the round table, is that there's different panels, of course, with these caps, a single panel, 6 panels, all of these different styles of caps. And a lot of the reviewers, they tend to go for one cap or another, the style, that 6 or the 8 or whatever it may be. And I'm one of those people who, it just doesn't bother me. If I like the cap, I'm not really set on one style. I'll get a cap no matter what, if I like the look of it. And so I think that just, that bears saying, because I believe it really, it gives you an idea of where I come from when I review these caps, because I'm not going to just always be about the single panel or about the 6 panel or about the 8 panel. If I like the cap, I'm going to get it and I'm going to wear it just for what the cap is, despite what type panel it might be. And so I did show you the brim. I don't know why I didn't show you while I was showing you the brim, but it does have, as you can see there, the Brawn, which is the pin as well, that sticker on the inside of the cap. I think I like this pin. I like the sticker. I think it looks great on the cap. It looks really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to review the Brawn. I think this is just it's a great looking cap. I keep looking at it in the monitor here because I really like the look of this cap. I haven't worn this cap much, so this is the first day I got to wear this cap. So I'm going to go ahead and rate this thing. I rate on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. The Brawn by Boston Scally Company for me is a 4. I really, really like this cap. I think I'm going to wear it a lot, especially in the winter months. Now, the winter rose, it did come out today, and it has a pin, and I believe it also had a sweatshirt as well that came along with it. So I did end up, so future spoiler alert, I guess, if you can spoil cap reviews, I am going to be doing a winter rose coming up soon, and I did get the pin as well, so I really like the look of the cap and the pin. And what's funny is I was actually going to pass on the winter rose at first, but it was a cap that my wife really liked. So I was like, hey, you know, she doesn't quite support my addiction, but she's not I mean, she'll joke, she'll be like, you've got enough caps, like, give it a rest for a while. And I agree. At a certain point, it's like, enjoy what you buy for a while, and I think even Todd Swisher may have said that when he did appear on the roundtable video on the live stream. He was talking about that. That's why they don't release so much, or at least one of the reasons, because they kind of want you to enjoy the cap you bought for a while, right? Because Boston Scally, especially from October to December, they had ridiculous amount of releases. I mean, it was one right after the other. Once December came along, they released, I think, 6 caps in one day. It was something insane. So I get that point of view to kind of, you're going to buy something, you're going to put some money into it, enjoy it for a while, right? When you have too much, it's kind of like, it almost becomes like you don't have anything, I think, in a way, because you don't get to enjoy what you just bought. And you feel like you're always kind of having to, get that cap or that cap or that cap. You can't just grab this one and be like, oh, I can wear this, for at least minimum, a couple weeks, if not a month. So, I'm guilty of that, though. I'm guilty of buying too many caps at one time. I will be the first to admit. But I will also say I do wear them. I don't let them just sit in the closet and let them just go to waste. And I think that was one of the topics on the last live stream, was what was the cap that you bought that you liked the least. And I think for Mark with Reviews with Moose, it was for, what was it? Oh, the Popeye 2 was his, with the spinach cans on it. And he essentially said, I never wear this thing. It just sits in the closet. And that's happened probably to all of us with a 1 or 2 hat purchases, but I don't want that to be the norm, right? I don't think probably any of us do, because I've said this before, but I'm not really a collector. Yes, I do buy quite a bit of caps, but I don't intend for them to sit there without any use. So that is it for me today. Thank y'all so much for joining me. So the Brawn by Boston Scally, again, 4 out of 5. I love this cap. It's getting cool where I'm at. It's been cool for a while now, so I look forward to wearing this cap. It's a very nice and warm cap. It fits great, medium large, so I look forward to wearing this cap at least until probably early March where I live. If not, maybe a little later for me. So I love this cap. Thank y'all so much for joining me today, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.